I got asked the other day if I could give you some checkpoints as far as the swing is concerned. So here's my little attempt at answering that question. Get yourself a club and get one of those long wooden tees, jam it in the hole, okay, in the end of the grip. I'm going to be moving backwards and forwards from these two visuals. So the first check would be as we start the backswing. Let's move along here a bit so we can see we've got our target line, the orange sticks on the ground. And as we start back, just where you're swinging to where your hands would be about opposite your right foot, make sure the tee stays relatively close to your leg. Too often times we see this sort of handle twisting look as we start back. So that would be your first check, just simply nothing more than swinging your hands opposite your right leg. And at this point, the tee will be relatively close to your leg and pointing at your leg as well. Then from here, as we start moving the club where we're rotating the hips and we start cocking the wrists, we're going to see that by the time we get to shaft first level with the ground, the tee still points somewhat towards my left leg where the shaft's level with the ground. My hands are inside that club head. So again, we haven't got this rolled look where the end of the grip, the tee is pointing out towards the wall. So we've got checkpoint 1, and to here where the shaft is level, the tee would point somewhat towards my left thigh. And if we go back a little bit further to say where the left arm is now level with the ground, make sure that the tee is pointing somewhere along the target line or maybe just slightly inside the target line. Preference would be not to see it pointing too far outside the target line in that regard. So we're 1, 2, left arm level with the ground, then we can move it up to the top of the swing where you'll feel like the tee peg is pointing directly away from you. Then of course as we start down, if we come over to this side, again we're 1, 2, left arm level to the top. Now as we start down, we want to get a sensation that we're going to keep the tee peg pointing at the target line. This is where swings can really get a little bit messed up, and as the player starts down, the club gets tipped over too much. So again, from the top of the swing, concentrate on trying to keep that tee pointing once again at the target line as we move into the downswing. Then from here, I would then swing into impact, hold it at impact, and can you get the tee peg pointing at your left hip? That would give you a little bit of forward lean, so we can compress that golf ball, get that nice ball turf type of a strike. And from the video yesterday, as we keep coming through to sort of where the shaft is level with the ground, I'm now keeping the tee pointing somewhere towards my left hip. So what hasn't happened is this kind of thing where the tee is pointing off to the side. So we haven't flipped it, still pointing at the left hip, and then to go halfway through, now you can see I've cocked the wrists again, keeping that tee peg pointing somewhere towards that target line. So there's a good number of checkpoints there. We've got some backswing stuff, keeping the hands closer, cocking the wrists, where we are halfway back. This is a key point to the top, and as we start down, feel like the end of the grip will be pointing out towards the target line. As we come into impact, the tee pointing on the left hip for good impact, and then of course keeping the club on a nice plane as we're coming through and into that finish. So they'll help you pick and choose 1 or 2 of those checkpoints to work on. Anything you can do with the mirror is great practice.